So it isn't a lie that most people realize that housing is pretty unaffordable for most people at this point, and there's a lot of people are homeless. And even if you're a very selfish person, these homeless people cannot be as productive in the workforce and can more easily cause crimes and disease and stuff to spread. That's if you're a very selfish and mean person and you care about other people's and their potential, and you stop them from being able to live the fullest life and help you back. So here's a couple ways to directly we could change this with policies that I thought of. One is we reform the tax system we have. And let me explain this quickly. Our tax system means that if a person gets upgrades to the house that can make their house more accessible or cheaper or more environmentally friendly, because it's based on wealth, the taxes go up. So if they install solar panels, sometimes the taxes might go up. If they install something to make it more wheelchair accessible, the taxes go up. Now, things like solar panels or more efficient light bulbs or better things could save homeless owners money because the houses are now better, or just fixing up the houses are now better, so they could save money if it wasn't for the taxes and live in it better. Making it more accessible could give better housing and keep you in the houses with disability as you keep them standards of living better so they can be more productive and earn more money, or that they lose less opportunities, or they can pay stuff more time because and they might lower their medical bills and so on and so on. Now, on the reverse, people also have trouble with that. People that are very rich do not pay enough taxes on housing because we don't tax investment properties as much. We don't tax wealthy empty spaces as much. We don't tax, one person owns a house, we don't tax it per square footage. So an alternative tax system where we cause people to pay based on not how expensive the property is, but we can tax them based on how much livable area they could be owning, and it's not going to productive things like farming and stuff, and how much of it actually is occupied by people. And then we can tax them also a high rate for stuff that's more of investment property. So if they own two houses, they get taxed higher. If one of those houses they own that they're using for short-term rentals like Airbnbs, they get taxed higher. And there's a simple way of doing it just by looking at like square footage and stuff and livable area estimated based on that. Then you can do more complicated ways where you add on taxes for certain things and you have credits for certain other things. And that way we can kind of hit two birds with one stone. That would also motivate people to build more affordable housing, because they're more affordable housing in many ways, because then they don't look at building housing just for investment purposes. It'll have to be something that people want to buy to live in more, arguably, and the rich won't be building these extravagant mansions as much if you really boost the taxes up that way. Another way of maybe doing it is to have a better loan forgiveness program. The problem with loan forgiveness is that if you forgive a loan, and let's say this, then companies and stuff might be greedy and actually charge you more money and start asking for more money, thinking that it'll just be forgiven. Sending a loan forgiveness program needs to be accompanied by something that's anti people taking advantage of it with the profit of companies and stuff like that. So that gets me to my third point, price control and stuff on the bunch of companies. So they can't just sell houses and stuff for ridiculous prices, and people can sell properties for ridiculous prices. And also controls on loans to make sure predatory loaning doesn't happen as much. And also that they still give out as much loans. And we can also look into unfair practices to make sure that loans are given to are not discriminating based on race and sex and stuff like that, which oftentimes still happens. And you can see that, like Wells Fargo's, almost all of its loans go to white people for the best rates, and they've shown it over and over again, despite that being illegal technically. Another one could be to have what I'm going to call a save fund. Now, what I'm talking about, a save fund, is a fund where people put in money and it's not being taxed and it's special benefits, and they can save up to buy a house or something like that. And to make this more useful, maybe this money you can only spend on certain things that are more necessary to living. You could have it that in a safe fund it's not taxed. You can only put money in there for housing, food, and healthcare, and some maybe other basic necessities to keep that people have a certain standard of living always. They can build up for emergency times. Then you can use that safe fund and say that this is also can be used for investing and stuff. Just an idea right there. Another one would be to promote more public housing projects by the government that are priced at a certain rate, and because they're priced at a certain rate, other people that are going to build houses also have to compete with these houses. And then there might be loans for them, but you have to compete with those loans on these houses, maybe bringing the whole market into a more competitive space. These public houses, though, you have to really think about having good, smart administration and actually building good, smart houses right here, and not just a house that's going to fall apart in 5 seconds, as some people have done in the past. Another one is to have more programs for houses repairs and improvement the houses. Again, this has to be smartly managed so it doesn't cause people to go in debt because now the house is worth more money. And we also have to think about it gentrifying the neighborhood. And the way around maybe making sure it doesn't gentrify the neighborhood is to make sure a lot of houses get this program at once nearby. They're all about the same quality and on the lower end. Therefore, that will bring the lowest end up first, and then because the lowest and make sure people that live there stay there. An idea that's a little bit more out there is to keep university housing and other housing for jobs and stuff like that open more of a year round. And the idea is that some people, there are few homeless people that go to college and university. There's also a lot of people with financially insecure places that have their kid in college and university. If they can stay at the university, it can be more affordable in many ways because they can, sometimes it gives them more easy access to jobs for the kids. Sometimes that means the family can figure out a way of saving money at their house because they can get a small place. Sometimes it means they might get better, when they live in the university, they might get better quality housing and life virtual improvement that might give them better. Sometimes you might let them escape from an abusive situation and save up more money and stuff. You might help them get more connections. And there's a lot. And also, it might just be a break from other bills because maybe they have more access to food, or maybe they can have more people that can donate food to them on campus. Of course, this is a very small impact probably overall, but it is a part of the puzzle, I think, that add up, especially for lower income, and maybe it'll add up more for generations as it helps people get more educated. Another one would be for the government to offer more online jobs and stuff for people in bad housing situations so they can earn money to keep the houses. Another idea is to make sure that income isn't lowered when you're married and stuff like that for benefits, for like unemployment benefits and stuff like that. But oftentimes if a person gets married, they lose unemployment benefits because of combined income, same as with disability benefits, and so much more. So just looking at ways that people can keep their government benefits under many more cases would be a hugely beneficial there, and also hiding it from people so people don't overcharge them thinking they have benefits. Another idea is to look at diversity more in who giving out loans and banking and stuff, and make sure that there is enough diversity so everyone gets a fair chance. Because oftentimes it's still racially discriminatory in many, many ways. And another one is to figure out alternative credit scores, because credit scores can really hurt people that really do pay stuff on time sometimes. They have worse credit scores. People that do not work traditional jobs but might even earn more money because they have no good account records of those money. And there's a whole wide list, and oftentimes people make mistakes in credit scores. One way of doing that may be combining it with the save fund idea I have, and using that to judge people make up a credit score for them. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe, it will help stand out. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really hard, really help I think can do it. Also, if you have any ideas for future videos, comments, or suggestions, please leave in the comment section below. Again, thank you very much. Goodbye.